Hello, lovely, lovely mamas and women here on my page. I have a really, really beautiful gift for you today. And I want to share a little romantic story, a love story before we start. And if you're freaking out right now because it's Valentine's Day and you're single or unhappily singled or unhappily married, whatever, don't freak out. I want to share a little love story that has nothing to do with romance, really, but with just human connection and love. So, do you know that feeling when you meet someone and you just instantly feel that you're connecting? You know, like this love at first sight, or just this connection at first sight? So, I guess all of you know that. And I've had this a few weeks ago, and I wanted to share that with you because the goddess of the internet directed me to a profile of someone, of a woman called Yana. And I was like, I like that lady. I don't know who she is, but I like her. And I think I added her. I don't know. Somehow we connected, and we were connected through the mysterious ways of the internet. And then we quickly started chatting, and she told me a bit about her. She had just moved from Maui to Atlanta, and she told me she's a life coach. And I just felt like she's my woman. She's my tribe. She's my G friend. You know, like I like her. And I like what she's doing. She's also into personal development, and she's been through quite a bit, which shaped her and brought the best out of her. So, and now she's a certified life coach, you know, speaking and coaching people to go from surviving to thriving, which I totally resonate with because I've been in this survival, and I also really want everyone to thrive. So I felt like, yeah, I want that woman to speak to my audience. I want to share her light. And that is why I invited her to share in an interview a bit about what her wisdom is. And then we talked about dates, and Valentine's Day came up. And what a beautiful day to do that, especially for all the mamas. No matter your relationship status, I'm single, so I can relate, but I'm happy with that. And I've been having a great day alone by myself today. I actually love my own company by now. And now I'm so happy to share her wisdom, or have her share her wisdom with you. And that is why I want to welcome dear Yana. Hello, hello.
My heart is happy. Thank you so much for that intro. So it's funny. So we didn't plan this, right? And you were going to tell me that you were going to tell that. You were like, I'm just going to tell a story. So here's my side of that interaction, which is sure as like a coach, a consultant in the mentorship space, and especially being on Facebook and being active, we get like a lot of friend requests. And I will say in our industry too, so many of it is pitches. It's like people like, oh, you're my perfect avatar. Let me teach you how to make 10K months with coaches. Join my program, right? And you and somebody else messaged me or added me as a friend and messaged me like right at the same time. And I remember like my heart just, when I saw your profile, I was like, oh, this isn't someone just trying to buy me again. Or you know what I mean? Get me to like this is a genuine, beautiful, awesome connection. And yeah, so I had that same instant chemistry that you're talking about. And I'm so glad. And then the next day we started messaging each other. And so did that other person that added me like right at the same time as you. And I hadn't connected names yet. And I was like, and then I was looking and I opened my message and I was like, anyways, I mixed you two up for a second, and I was like, no, she isn't like, oh, she isn't the kind, like, because the other person was just trying to get me to join their program or whatever. And then you had written me right away being like, by the way, do you want to do a talk? Or we started talking and introducing each other. And I was like, oh, wait, that is the right person, right? So I connected you back to that feeling. And it just, yeah, so it feels so nice in internet space, like I think it's part of our work is that we really are putting ourselves out there and we have the capacity to meet so many people. And every
Yeah.
once in a while, you just get these like connections where before you even read the profile, before anything, you just know it's love at first sight. So it's mutual, darling. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And really also the contact that we had these last days was just like, oh, I love hearing messages from her. It came in at the right time. And really, I mean, it's all energy. And if we just tap into that more and more, and I've been doing my work to tap more into that, and it gets so much easier to instantly know if you're vibing, and it's helpful with everything really. So yeah, amazing. So good.
So good.
So you're a life coach, and I wanted to hear a bit about you. And we said that Valentine's Day is a great day to talk about self-love, especially for my audience, which is mostly mamas. So I would love for you to share what a favorite tool of yours is on self-love, or how do you define it? How do you integrate it into your life?
Yeah, so it's like 4 questions in one, right? um, I'll try to tie them together actually with a story that just happened to me recently. So, um, I have been coaching since November 2019 is when I got certified in my program. So, and I was coaching already in my program. Part of it was to work with clients one-on-one. So, but as soon as I graduated my program, I was like, go, go, go. And my first year of coaching was not the easiest year. It was, we have a lot of preconceptions about what the business will be. And my heart, I got into it because I love coaching so much. And I love helping people and I love people, but like business and marketing and that whole side of it and becoming an entrepreneur, I knew I had it in me, but it just isn't, it's not taught in most coaching schools, right? So it wasn't, so you kind of get thrown into the world and then it's like, hey, show up and actually be a life coach by making sure that you do your stuff correctly, right? That you're able to keep going through all those ups and downs of the first year and finding clients and seeing if it's going to work or not work and if you can actually help people and if people are going to pay you for it and, so on and so forth. So this past week, my younger sister is actually visiting and she's had dental surgery not too long ago and there's a few complications, so she's in and out of the dentist, poor girl. So take a moment right now, everyone, send her a little love and healing and love her. But anyway, she was kind of upset because she's missing college and she's not, already between COVID and everything that's going on. And now she's missing more time away from school. And she was in a funk the other day and I picked her up and it's like, let's go, we're going to lunch. And as we're driving to lunch, she somehow it came up and I asked her, Vicky, she was saying something along the lines of, so now I'm in a whole different phase of my business. Like I really realized all the pitfalls of entrepreneurship and I don't have the same expectations as I did before. And I'm ready to go with the process and keep doing it because of how much I love coaching. And my sister's like, you know what? I'm really glad that like all your stuff is going so great with your coaching and you have new clients and you're doing this new program, but like, this sucks. And I was like, listen, you're right. 100%. But if you're open to it, if you want to know why I'm being successful in my coaching career right now and why it's going up and up for me, and she just cut me off and she was like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say it's all about being positive, and it's because you have all the positive self-talk and you're always believing that your business is going to grow and you're believing the clients are coming, right? So she's like, it's all. And I looked at her and I was like, if you would have asked me that last year when I first started my business, I would have told you 100% that that's the case. The positive self-talk, it's the affirmations, it's the vision. Totally, I got this. And then the last year, especially COVID in 2020 and starting a business, and I went through my own breakup and all this stuff. And it was one of the hardest years of my life. And yet I'm still running and starting and growing a business. And what I learned in this past year through my relationship with coaching is that life is not always pleasant and easy and happy and wonderful and daisies and rainbows. Sometimes there's those super challenging moments. And in the past year, I learned to really lean into them and have every single one of those moments be my teacher and my guide and take me to the next place and the next adventure. And I told Vicky, I said, what happened before is the positive self-talk will never let you out of that place of resisting what you're truly yearning for, what's really your truth. But sometimes we're not aligned with it yet. So we have to get ourselves there. And that in between, that gap can really be tough because a lot of times we're leaving an old part of ourselves behind. We're leaving a truth that got us to that place in the first place behind in order to build a new layer and a new foundation. And so I told her, I was like, I know what's going on with you and your dental work right now sucks. I know what's going on with you missing college sucks. The conversation you're having in your head on top of it and saying it shouldn't be like this. And I'm not doing something right and I'm missing out on the college. And you go into the self-blame mode. And so you're resisting the part of yourself that wants to just say, this really sucks. Like, this is really hard. Instead, you're beating up on yourself even more so. And so I told her, I was like, my success in this last year has been not because I'm positive Polly or not because I'm always happy or have these beliefs or visions in my business. My success now is coming through because every time I post something, I go and I evaluate it. Or if it doesn't resonate, I go and I sit with my business coach and I say, hey, how can I change this? Where am I going wrong? And I've been able to make such big decisions like leaving Maui, which is a place that I love. And I love the freedom there. So I can be in a place where I can have more access to people. You know, I told you I want to go into public speaking and things like that. And so I wanted to be a part of a greater audience, but that meant leaning into the pain of leaving Maui, of leaving paradise, right? Like, so it's not all rainbows and daisies all the time. But it's those moments when we really can tap into our own, all the feelings, our wholeness of ourselves, and take that to learn from and guide us into, hey, who are we becoming? And not resist it. That's going to make life awesome. That's what life coaching is all about. It's not about teaching you how to have the perfect life. It's all about teaching you how to thrive amongst the hardest parts of life. The 50% that's not easy, you know? And so I don't know if that answers your question, but you asked me about my favorite tools. So
I love that story. Really, it resonates. Like, it's, for me, it's been a huge part of accepting the downfalls, the challenges, and like leaning in and saying, okay, yes, what is this here to expand me, to teach me, and like leaning into the painful parts, and then they actually go past much quicker and help you evolve. That's great. Yeah. So
so
self-love.
yeah, so that actually, so you asked me about my favorite tool, and I know when we were prepping for this, you were like, is it journaling? Is it meditation? Is it, what's my favorite tool for kind of integrating and life coaching tool? And I was really thinking about it, and, and I really have realized that there's this concept called personality doesn't scale. So what that means is what works for me and my personality isn't universally the same thing that's going to work for absolutely everybody. So my personality isn't necessarily going to scale and be that big overlapping concept that fits everybody's needs, right? And so I can't say that there's like one tool per se, but I will say the biggest shift that I've made that has changed my life and that I see everybody who's extraordinarily successful within the coaching world or clients that are having extreme results within the coaching world working with coaches, the one thing that they do is this process of integration, so to say, which is integrating the hardest parts, the easiest parts of our lives together and seeing them conceptually as one picture and not denying any part of ourselves, which means whether it's feeling good or feeling bad. And from that place, when you really listen to yourself, your tools come through to you, right? So if we're honing in and we're seeing that our mind is so scattered and it's so busy and we don't know what's going on and life is always coming at us, and something deep down inside says, just be still. maybe that means meditation is working for you, right? And that would be a great place to start. Some people are creatives and sitting still is not, it's never going to soothe them. But if they just start writing and getting a journal out, and so sometimes for me, it's like, just write this down. Or I'll use my phone, and I'll get on a voice memo and I just talk it out. So sometimes that to me is the process of integration. Sometimes it's reflection. Sometimes I need a yoga class to get the energy to move through me. Sometimes it's working with my coach, but in a bigger picture way, one of the things that I hope to do in my own life and really further this message is talk about the idea of fragmentation in the world. So I lived in Jerusalem for a year, and I studied a lot of Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah, and I absolutely love it. And one of the ideas Kabbalistically is that our world is actually fragmented. So what that means, almost if you think of the Big Bang, everything was together at once. That was like God hanging out all in his joy, her joy, its joy by herself. And it was almost, speaking of Valentine's Day, kind of like lonely. And God was like, it is so amazing to be God, and this is such a pleasurable experience, but I have no one to share it with. Right? It's like cooking the best dinner for yourself and then sitting around and saying like, yeah, this would be great, but if I could watch somebody else eat it and enjoy it, like that would bring me so much joy. So God decided to expand and create a version of the world where everything is godliness, but it can't recognize itself. And so it's fragmented, right? It's separated. And if we look at our world, it's the same thing. We have this one world, but there's different cultures. And within the different cultures, there's different countries and different languages. And everything is like these aspects that deep down inside, divinely, we kind of know in our gut that it's all connected. But when we look on the surface, practically everybody's got their opinions. One person's this and this person's that. And we do this in our culture and we do that in our culture, right? And the same thing actually happens within the human being. So we ourselves also have this essence of fragmentation where something deep inside of us knows a certain truth about ourselves, that we're whole, that we're worthy, that we're perfect, even though life gets tough and we make the wrong decisions and we make people mad and we don't do the right thing with parenting, right? There's no manual oftentimes. So we were figuring it out along the way. And the process of integration is listening to these different parts of yourself and allowing them all to come forth, almost like a court hearing, and say, this is what's important for me. This is where I picked up this belief. This is why I feel this way. And sometimes it's like we can have two truths that are totally, I tell my clients, I'm like, yeah, so what's going on with you is you basically have two CrossFit teams in your brain and in your body, or maybe three or maybe four, and they're playing tug of war. And they're all really, really strong. So sometimes we don't know which way to go, which direction to go. And it's just this constant ebb and flow. And that place is one of the hardest places to be. When you don't know within yourself where you're going to go next, or what you're going to do next, or who you even are, or aligning with yourself. And it takes so much energy in the body, just biochemically, to keep up that state. And then you're flooded with stress and, and so on and so forth. And it creates this reaction within you that's more fragmentation, more separation, which is opposite of what is the reality of you being a whole being, all the parts of you. And so the biggest thing that I love teaching people is really how to access every single part of themselves and allow every part to come forth and allow every part to speak in order to find the common part that encompasses them all. And it's a process, right? It's always you uncover one layer, it's like a blooming onion, and then there's another one and another one. And so the other thing that I really work with my clients on is turning this process of integration into the process of integration on repeat and knowing how to do it and looking forward to it. And when a challenge comes into our lives, like almost being like, deep breath, This is amazing. This is different parts of me coming forth, and I get to know myself better. I get to really find myself. I get to mend these aspects. And it might be difficult for a week or two or a month or a year, however long this challenge takes for me to gain clarity on. But I'm so excited to do this work because it's literally energetic alchemy. Like I am transforming aspects of myself that once were at war into peace and love and integrity. And when we do that, like that is such self-love, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Beautiful. I love that. I love that it's not, as you said, like in the coaching world, and I'm a total, law of attraction, positive person. And this is a huge part of, creating a new future, not staying in the stuck negative past, but we have to integrate the stuff that we neglected or took from others, and that is important. And I like that you say it's integration, because it's about becoming your fullest expression, and not about releasing or healing something that's bad, but like integrating everything. And then something that looks like a shadow can actually, when you bring it to the light, can be, very, very bright and light. So yeah, I love that.
I
Very good.
forget what culture it is. Maybe someone who's watching knows and can help me out and type in the comments.
Yeah.
But there's a tribal culture. I think it's Africa based, where let's say two members of the clan or two groups or families cannot agree on something, and they're really like head to head, and they're butting heads, and it's really stopping the whole group from moving forward and progressing. And so what they actually do is a very beautiful ceremonial aspect where the two parties that are not in line with each other come together in front of the elder or the mentor or the shaman of the group, so to say, and they sit in ceremony until there's a third way, a higher resolution that works for everyone in the tribe and helps the tribe move forward. So the tribe doesn't say, hey, one person's right and one person's wrong, which is so much of like in America, right? Our last election, whether you believe in politics, but it's so 50-50 that there's still this, like, it's always what this kind of societal idea is that no, we actually come and we discourse. And if it means we sit and yell, we'll sit and yell. And if we have to cry, we're going to cry, but we're going to keep digging and going. And we're not getting up from this meeting until we've created a third solution that works for everybody in this tribe. And that usually is like the evolutionary next step. It's progress, it's beauty, right? And if you can find that umbrella that works for everyone. So I choose to believe that that's always there. That anytime there's a disagreement, anytime there's a conflict, it's actually us yearning for a third truth that can heal it all, that can encompass it all. And that's what I want to bring to the world more, but it starts with doing that just within one person, within ourselves, And if we learn that we can be in grace with ourselves, then we can start doing that work more and more in the world and showing that it's possible to others as well.
Oh, I love that. And also the reference to the situation we're in globally. It's really right now, when you look at it from the outside, it's like parting, one group and the other group, and like there's no gray area. And if you have an opinion, you're either that or that side, and it's like very much against each other. And I think it's really important to understand that it starts with us, and it's not about neglecting and letting go of one part, because all of it is us. All of it is us as a society and as a person, and we cannot just, kick one outside, and we have to find a way to integrate all of them. And often it's just a reframing, right? Like the two sides that are against each other often have the same interest, or basically I believe they always have the same interest. It's keeping you alive and possibly thrive as a person. And
Right.
There's a more fear-based one maybe, and another part, and they're kind of contradicting. But when you
Well, or even, yeah, if you're looking at like again, I don't want to say, but politics, right? The whole idea is like both sides want the best thing. Both sides have here in America, both sides have the idea of like, no, this is the best way to keep America America. This is the best way for America to be American, whatever that definition means. I'll let everybody fill in the blanks because I like to stay very neutral on politics. But the idea here isn't like, how can we see, hey, how can this group and this group really, and I'm not saying I actually absolutely, I don't think we have to all become like one collective blob where there are no different parties and where everybody just has the exact same vision and we're all in line. I actually believe just like within the human body, I have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to, my heart has a certain job and my liver has a certain job, and they're all individual and unique and specific and beautiful and bring their strengths to the table, but they coexist within the aspect of the body. So same thing within a political system. So to say, like, I'm not saying to get rid of the system. I'm just saying that the more that we can have both voices be heard and see as a nation, is there an overarching umbrella way that both individual qualities, parties can be highlighted and brought to the surface? And so we can say like, hey, this is really good here and this is really good type deal, and really bring that to the surface so that all the different unique qualities are being highlighted. I actually truly believe that that is true integration. Like, it's not about saying we all must be the same and there's, once again, one way for everybody. It's actually allowing every single one on an individual level person to be themselves and to be as authentic to themselves as possible. Obviously, it can't hurt the rest of the world, but I truly believe that deep down inside, when we're in integrity and an authenticity to ourselves, we really are going to do the nicest things for the world. Deep down inside, our soul yearns to give, to be compassionate, to take care of others. We just have lost direction for so many of us along the way on how do we do that? And why do we do that? And why would I even want to do that? I've been hurt so much, right? And so that to me is like, what unique gifts do you have and how can we bring those forth? And that is really the process that I really teach my clients. Is first, it's integration. So it's just learning how to access all these parts of yourself and allow them all to speak and find your authenticity in it. Then the next part is really acceleration. So if you think of runners, before anybody became a professional runner, they had to crawl. Then they had to learn to walk just like anybody else. Then they began running. And then what did they do? They started practicing running. And they practice. So anybody who wants to practice or thrive truly, you have to figure out this process and you got to do it on repeat, and you're not going to always do it right. So that's kind of my one-on-one coaching philosophy. Is I do year-long coaching with people. It's a weekly session every single week, but it's so that we can do this process of integration over and over and over as things come up in our lives, and see how it works and learn all the different tools. And sometimes it's meditation, sometimes it's journaling, sometimes I do somatic body work with my clients, where I really help them tap into their bodies. So it's always different on each call. Sometimes it's just time to celebrate because we've done so many awesome things. But throughout that course of the year, you learn how to put that process into repeat. And then what I believe thriving is when you are so good at recalibrating yourself and being honest and yearning and kind of yearning for your own truth, that you go into the world and you actually express your message. You express your authenticity and you let the fuel from the inside actually create things in your reality that you love to surround yourself with, whether it's your relationships, whether it's your work, whether it's the way you mother your kids, whether it's how you present yourself in the community, whether it's in your work that you're doing with other people. What is burning up on the inside, all those parts of you start coming out and actually expressing themselves into the world through you. And that to me is like, that's thriving. Like when you wake up every morning and you're like, yes, even though today might be challenging, I am so excited. Let's go. I'm on a mission, right? Like, and you're so excited to just wake up and get the day going. Even when it's hard, that's thriving.
Absolutely. I can so relate to that. Absolutely. And I've been in the surviving part and I've been in the thriving part for quite a while now. And as I'm a mama, single mama, and I have so many mamas watching, I would love to hear also about you. Do you coach mothers? How's your experience with mothers? If you have any, and like, what do they go through? What helps them most?
Yeah, for sure. So it's interesting because I'm not a mother, but I do end up gravitating towards mothers, and I have coached a good number of moms now. And actually moms and more like if I can, sometimes it's just the mom, but I also, if we can get the unit involved, the child is always going to progress the most with everybody kind of on board. However, not everybody is a good fit for me when it comes to clients, because I actually have a pretty radical approach for what is modern day taught now. I do believe we're moving in that direction, but me and you spoke about Dr. Shefali Tsabari, who is absolutely amazing. She's been on Oprah so many times. She was such a big inspiration. So when I found her work, I was like, I've known this all along. I just didn't know how to express it, right? But her idea is the idea of conscious parenting. Yeah. And I'll kind of paraphrase. I highly recommend anyone in your audience who's never heard of Dr. Tsabari to go on YouTube, type in Shefali Tsabari, watch one of her talks. She is incredible. But the idea of conscious parenting is actually quite different from the way that most traditional parenting paradigms are put into perspective. So traditionally, we kind of see the child as almost like our object, our look at what I created, almost like this belongs to me. I'm responsible for teaching it how it should live its life and the things it should do and what is important and what isn't. I'm going to instill the way that I believe is best for this child, right? And we kind of have the system of like, it's time for, our whole goal is to shape and mold and put the program into the child that sets them up for success in life, so on, so forth. Dr. Tsabari is like, nope. Your child's here to teach you. Your child came into this world, and your child is going to be your greatest teacher. And that is why your child is going to, am I allowed to curse on your live? No, but like, your child is going to drive you freaking nuts. Like, your child is going to pull out everything in you that you didn't expect. Your child is going to make you, at the very beginning, right away, like, it's cute, but you're just awake all the time and you're so tired. Or even in pregnancy, your body goes through all this stuff, right? And completely so from day one, your child is putting you into that place of discomfort. And yet, what's that deepest knowing? Like, I love this being with my whole life and I will do anything for it. And I am ready to, right? Like, deep down in your hearts, even though it's causing you so much frustration possibly and sleepless nights, and as they get to be teenagers, even more so, right? And deep down inside, you still are like, this thing, I love it. And I want to do what's best for it. And how do I help it? And how do I connect to it? So Dr. Tsabari says that every single time your child triggers you, it's actually what we mostly like to do, right? Is, hey, Johnny, we're going to take you to a busy restaurant where all the adults are eating, and we know you're 4 years old and fidgety and running around is the best thing for you, but we're going to take you here and expect you to sit quietly. And every time you like play with your fork or throw it on the ground or do something a kid does, we're going to say, no, Johnny, this is not how we don't behave like this in a restaurant. You have to be one of the adults, right? So like, we're trying to, and so Dr. Tsabari is like, no. Like, you're triggered in that moment because Johnny's just being a kid and he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. But you chose to bring him into a restaurant and try to make him an adult in that moment, right? And so the parents that I work with are parents who want to see kind of a newer approach to parenting, who want to really tune into who their child is authentically and who their child is coming into being. And so what the parents that I work with want to realize is, A, my job is to keep that child safe. My job is to protect it. My job is to create an environment where that child can explore the world. and can play and can be more hands-on and their personality can shine through. But I still have to be a parent. It's not like a free-for-all. Like, go do what you want. Mom's over here, you know? So the parents that I love working with, that I really vibe with, and especially mamas, are those mamas that are like, yes, my child is my teacher. And I'm willing to do the work, and I'm willing to go inside, and I'm willing to learn. And when my kid triggers me, I'm not going to be just yelling at him or her right away or saying, hey, don't do this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to sit with it. And I'm going to journal. I'm going to see what part of myself is happy with what he's doing or she's doing. What part of myself understands where they're coming from? What part of myself can learn the lesson in this? And how can I create the space where I'm protecting my kid and I'm creating the safest, most awesome environment for them to grow up in that I possibly can, but still allowing them to develop and be themselves and have their personality come through. And it's the most amazing work. Like, I love it. I love it. So, yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I think most of the viewers here can relate, because I'm into conscious parenting, Dr. Shafali, and all these great teachers. And yeah, I really know what that means. And I think my followers do as well, to take this challenge and journey of parenthood as a personal, spiritual development, ongoing task every day. I was just wondering if there's anyone asking questions. I have my phone here to see if we have any comments. You can, if you're watching live right now, you can put your questions in the comments, or if you're watching as a replay, feel free to drop questions as well, and then we can, or Yana and I can come back and answer. If you have any questions to Yana, this is the right moment to ask. And yeah, you shared a lot about integration already, and I know you have a program coming up that's called Integration. So what is that about, and how is that different from other coaching experiences?
Yeah, definitely. So my first year of coaching, I noticed that, especially at the very beginning, I was attracting a lot of clients who, just like me, like before I started working with a coach, are in that place of kind of surviving. So I was living on Maui. I was working a darn good job in the service industry. I was working 20 hours a week, all at night, had all the time to play, surf, hike, whatever. And then I was really dissatisfied deep down inside, and I didn't know why. And I reached out and started working with a coach. And the first steps for me were learning just the basics, like how our mind works, how our emotions work, how to deal with tough emotions, how to process those ideas, how to even have awareness of how my thoughts and body are connected. How does that drive my results, you know? And once you've done enough, once you've been in the coaching world, there's seminars, and once you've done enough of those, any Tony Robbins program, any, different teachers, but you kind of have these basic tools. But what I started noticing that a lot of people were doing in the coaching world was offering these basic tools, and here's my five-day training, or here, like Tony Robbins, I've joined a few of his seminars, but they're like, here's 4-day intensive weekend, and you get really hyped, and you do all the journaling, and you do all the stuff, and you get your vision plan. But because it's so focused into just being a weekend, it goes like this. Whoop. And then, right, so it's always like we get fueled. I'm not saying this is for everybody, but a common thing that I was noticing. And so I ran a few groups before where I try to really kind of consolidate all of my teachings, the basic stuff, into 4 or 5 day events or a weekend group or a pop-up group. And I noticed the same thing happening with my students. And this process of evaluation, like, I really want to bring what's going to be the most effective for my people, right, is kind of my thing. So what I did, and this is my absolute first time running it, I just designed it, but it's basically a 6-week program that's going to be like, if you've never worked with a coach, or if you're wondering if life coaching is right for you, or if you just want those basic tools to learn this process of integration and how to do it, I created a 6-week program, and it's called Integrate the Workshop, because you're actually going to be doing things, little things, not a lot all at once, not like this huge weekend, but little lessons all throughout for 6 weeks. So you really get what it would feel like to integrate as we're learning these basic tools. So the way that the program is designed is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I drop a little 15-minute lesson into the program that's going to be associated with a workbook that's on that week's topic. The topics progress to get you from surviving to thriving, basically. Every single week is going to level up on top of each other. And so you have these mini challenges throughout the week. And it's, it won't take more than like 30 minutes per day or 20 minutes per day. But I'm telling you, if you give me 20 minutes a day for 6 weeks of your life, your whole life can change. So little time, right? But how much is that worth? And so you do that by yourself. You're learning that process. You're watching the videos. But then every single Sunday, I have it right now, is starting next week, we're going to come together for a group coaching session where we're really going to see that. So my name, Yana, my mom didn't really intend it to be that way, but Yana is actually an acronym, I found out, for You Are Not Alone. Yeah. And it just kind of turned out to be the story of my life. But I love the group coaching aspect, because what happens when you join a group, even if you aren't the one being coached, when you see other people being coached on exactly the same thing that's going on in your mind, and you're like, oh my gosh, I do that too. Oh my God, I have that thought too. Like, it is so comforting to know that you're not alone, right? And you're going through this. So you have that group integrative aspect in the program. And then on top of that, you get 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me too. So if there's things that you don't want to do within the group, or that it might be too private, or you want to just, so I want you to see what it's like to just coach with somebody one-on-one as well, and see what that experience is like. And so I created what I truly believe is going to be a program that really helps people take these foundational steps that it takes to learn our emotions, to integrate the stuff that I paid literally my coach a first year's worth of coaching for. I want to consolidate into 6 weeks. And I want to make it a process where you can access the material anytime. You can download the workbooks and you can continue doing it over and over and over and over. So even if you never end up working with a coach, like, you have it and it's done over a course of time, that it really settles into your body and becomes your new truth, your new foundation, rather than just setting you kind of on a high and then being like, okay, now you got to buy my next program in order to keep this high up. Like, that's what I didn't want to do. I wanted to create something where if people only had enough resources to do this program, it would be enough. And that was kind of my goal with that. So fun thing is, so it's starting this week. So I'm introducing the lessons Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. Sunday's our first group coaching call. I'm keeping the group really, really small for this first round, as I want to explore how this is going to progress and work. And because it's my beta round of doing it, I'm only charging $180 for absolutely everything for the 6 weeks. So, like I said, I am starting to drop lessons on Monday. I still have a few spots open. I would say probably like 2 or 3, and then I'm going to close it down just to keep the intimacy of the space. And yeah, I would love to, I won't accept any more registrations after Friday this week, just because I want the group coaching to start with that intimate experience of everyone who's going to be in the group. And I will be running this again. So if this is not your round, that's totally fine. Stay in touch, write me an email. This is going to be something I keep on doing, but I'm just not sure if the price will be the same again.
Yeah, absolutely. The price is super good. Like, especially for single mamas who might be, a little tight on budget. This is a very good price for such a huge offer, and coachings in groups and personally with you. So that sounds really, really good. Really, my journey, 1.5 or 2 years ago.
Oh no, Karin, you froze.
Hey, there you are. Can you see me, Yana? So let me just restart here.
We're back.
We're back live.
Okay.
So sorry, I have no idea why this happened.
Technical difficulty. It's supposed to happen, right?
Let us catch up, breath, and if you feel like you want to ask anything, if you're watching right now, this is your chance. I'm just gonna refocus. So you shared about your amazing program coming up, and everyone who's interested can check you out on Facebook or Instagram. Your name is?
So on Facebook, actually, my nickname in Hawaii, Mana, the word Mana is like it's something that it's an energetic force, so to say, that's deep within everybody and all living things, actually, and all things in general, really. So in Hawaii, the ocean had its mana, and the mountains had the mana, and like it was just this life force that was a fuel, and your mana was almost like your power. It's kind of what drove you and what fueled you to continue living in your authenticity. So it was really ironic. My name rhymed with it. So my friends used to call me Yana Mana, Yana Mana, Yana Mana. So I ended up making that my Facebook name. And Facebook makes it really hard to change your name. So as I became a coach, I was like, you know what? Yana Mana. So we'll just keep that there. But on all my other platforms, it's Yana Dashevsky, which is my last name. And then if you're looking for me on Instagram, it's at Yana Dashevsky. And I also love to play on Clubhouse. That's really, really been super fun. So I'm at Yana Dashevsky there too. And every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so Eastern time in the US on Clubhouse, I lead a room with other coaches called Ask a Coach. And it's Ask a Coach Live. So it's basically where real people can get real coaching on real things, love, life, business, from a variety of different coaches. So you can come into the group. If you ever need weekly coaching and you're like, I don't know, I need a coach, but I don't have the abilities to like really, you know, work with a coach one-on-one right now, just join my Clubhouse room and you get all the free coaching you need.
Wow, what an offer. And I just talked with my team member and colleague about Clubhouse. She told me about it. I'm like, okay, I'll try it out.
Do you need an invite? You have one?
She's gonna invite me. I'm gonna check that out soon. So yeah, I will definitely check you out on there. That's really, really cool. Amazing. So maybe to end it with a powerful statement, I would love for you to imagine you had the entire world listening to you, let's say a minute, or whatever, however short you want to make it. Like, what is one core major message that you would want the entire world to hear?
Yeah, so if I only have a minute, I'm going to actually pick up this book. The message is out of here. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. So I'm not going to ruin the book for everyone, but it's a must read. And in the opening chapter of the book, she describes a cheetah that has been raised in a zoo. And it does, you know, kind of the zookeeper puts a bait in front of it and it's taught to do tricks and play, and it's just a zoo animal. So one of the kids raises their hand and says, is the cheetah happy in the zoo? And the zookeeper says, yeah, the cheetah, it was born here, it was born in captivity. It doesn't know the outside world. It'll never know. This is the cheetah's life, and it's so happy. And Glennon is there observing it, and the cheetah is just standing on the side and looking over the fence in the abyss. And Glennon says, even though that cheetah has never seen the outside world, deep inside her being, she knows she's not meant to be in a zoo. And there's a bigger life. And the whole book kind of opens up that concept. And so if you are somebody who knows that where you are right now is not in line with where you truly know you can be, that there's a bigger world, if you feel like you're caged and you're in a zoo and you shouldn't be, call me. I got you.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that even more because I'm a vegan and not a fan of zoos. And animals in captivity in general, but it's a beautiful analogy to really understand that, you know, there's so much more waiting for us. There's so much more possible than, you know, we've been playing small in our lives. So I love that message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for connecting. Thank you, whoever connected us. And thank you for everyone watching. If you're watching anytime later, put #replay in the comments so we see that you've watched it, and let us know if you have any questions and we can come back and answer them.
Let's do this again. This was so much fun. maybe once a month or something, we could go live and see what we're going through in life,
Yeah,
both of our audiences. And yeah,
absolutely. Why not? Let's
I
talk
love
about
it.
that soon.
Okay, well, that'll be our next text. You guys,
Yeah,
we're coming back to you with more goodness. This is going to happen a
yeah.
lot more often. It was so fun. I love it.
Oh,
It's fun. I love doing lives on Facebook, even by myself. But like, I realize sometimes I'm like, I'm just talking to myself, and so this is so much better. So,
I experienced it recently. How amazing interviews are. That's why. Yeah.
ooh, and
So,
next time I'm going to interview you about your work.
yay!
Okay,
I'll be happy
perfect.
to accept that.
We'll switch through. Awesome.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, lovely. Thank you for everyone watching, and have a great, great Valentine's love day. And make every day a love day. Actually,
Love it. I agree. I agree, right? Every day is an opportunity to just self-love a little bit more.
yeah,
What do I need today? What can I do for myself? I
great.
love it. All
Thank
right.
you. Love
Cheers. Till next time.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.